Check 1, 2. Is this thing on? Is this thing on? Oh. All right. Well, I'll wait for... Let's wait for a couple people to pop in here. Got one person watching on YouTube. Muhammad. Dumb Thoughts by Jack Handy. That's what I need to come up with a funny name for this segment, dude. It's gonna be hilarious. Stick around for a minute, my friend. It's gonna be pretty hilarious. What's up, basic backcaller? Let's get into it since I got a couple people here. I don't want to do a long show, so we'll just jump in. We're not gonna do super long. How's everyone doing? Oh man. Well, it's been a minute. Unless you've been on D Live, I've done a few on D Live, just not here on the YouTubeville because YouTube is terrible. Go over to SJG Perspective. Well, you know what? There's a better person to tell you about this than me, and where you should follow me at. There's a better person to tell you, and he's a good friend of mine. So give him 30 seconds, and then we're going to jump right into really dumb things that people say. And we're going to make fun of them a little bit. Not that we all haven't said dumb things and made dumb decisions. God knows I'm right up there, and I could be made fun of a lot for the dumb decisions I have made in my life. But we're still going to make fun of some of these because why people put them out there, I don't have any idea, but it's fun to mock them. So that is what we're going to do a little bit right now. And then we're also going to maybe touch on a serious or, more like a news thing too. But these are kind of like memes, but they're not. They could be memes though. So before we do that, I'm going to have a friend of mine tell you a little bit about where you can subscribe to me because YouTube is not where you want to subscribe to me. Take 30 seconds and we will be back right after this quick message.
Hi guys, it's Alfie again. And I just wanted to say, sometimes you gotta plant your feet so that a big Viper vortex thingy and explosions in the sky around this big broken wall, they don't get you. And one of the good ways to do that is to subscribe to sjgperspective.com. Because if you do not subscribe to him, one day, someday there's going to be a big bright light in the sky and it'll blow up like this and he'll be gone from YouTube forever. So subscribe to SJG Perspective and that will be all you need to do, okay?
It's true, guys.
This has been a paid advertisement, not paid. Watch out for that pain! For SJG Perspective, bye. Ooh, that one's going to leave a mark. Woo!
Oh, Alfie Weinstein, man. He is a character. He definitely is a character, but he's a good guy. So subscribe to SJG Perspective. You won't be disappointed. Without further ado, now I'm going to use my meme time here, but it's not really meme time. Although, basically, it could be, right? It could be a meme time, essentially. So we're just going to have fun making a little fun here. It says, these are from Whisper, the app called Whisper, apparently. So my phone's in the, or my camera's in the way too, dang it. So I might have a hard time reading what that says at the end. Didn't think of that one. Oh, I can read it right there. Never mind. It says, I gave up an opportunity to live and work in New York City, a dream I have always had. I decided to not go because of my ex at the time, only for him to leave me 3 months later for another woman. Well, I'm thinking you didn't suss that one out very good. There had to be some signs. There were some signs that, he was not fully committed. And you were ignoring those signs, in my opinion. I mean, I would have to say, there was something along the lines that shook out to say, nah, this is probably not the dude for me. He's probably a little bit of a jerkwad. I don't know if I should, put my whole life on the line and pause and do it. And you did it, and he left you. So chalk it up to life lessons learned, right? Chalk it up to that, move on. And next time, make sure that the dude that you're with is not a complete douche rag. Moving on. It says, I chose my boyfriend over my family. Well, there's your first mistake right there. Families are forever. So if he's just your boyfriend, then that's your first mistake. See, we'll just break this down as we go. First mistake right there. He ended up cheating on me and being on drugs. Well, okay, number one again, or number two here. The cheating signs were probably there. You were just ignoring them. and you knew he was doing drugs. So that didn't come out of the blue. I bet you nickels to donuts. I don't even know what that means, but I bet you money that didn't just come out of the blue. He also wasn't there for me when my house burned down. Okay, so was this before or after you chose him? If he wasn't there for you when your house burned down, because that's a pretty big thing, right? So if you knew that at the time and didn't do anything about it, that's on you. You're just not making good choices. My family forgave me, but I still regret it. And I feel, dang it, what is that last word she says there? She regrets it and feels terrible about it. Well, you should feel pretty terrible about it. And let that pain is a good teacher. Pain is a good teacher, everyone, right? It teaches us what we need to learn. It shows us in our hearts when we feel it where the pain is that we need to fix. And it reminds us that down the road, we don't want to make the same mistakes again. So let pain and regret be your teacher in that, and don't F up again. I loaned her $8,000 to help her with debt. Well, number one, why was she $8,000 in debt? Okay, that would be my first question. Is, why are you hanging out, girlfriend, friends with benefits? I don't know what exactly he says, but it does build character. Very good point, Mohammed. But my other point here is, if she's $8,000 in debt, is she a shit show? I mean, is her life just is it a shit wagon that you know, right? And you're still, because she had nice tatas, or because you were like wanting to, impress her with your cash? I don't know. But if you loaned her $8,000 because she was in debt, that should have been a big flag right there, that she was $8,000 in debt and she didn't have any way to pay it off. She took the cash and left me. Well, probably much what she's done with most of her debtors. She takes the product and doesn't pay him back. She never paid you back a cent. Well, let this again, my friend, be a lesson learned. You just don't do that stupid of crap. Okay? You gotta learn that if she didn't pay her debts, you were a debt. Why did you think she would pay you back? Ugh, people. My eating disorder began when my ex told me he liked skinny girls. Did it? Did it really? Or did you have a disorder before that made you eat a little much? I went to extreme measures to be his type. Okay, so we have daddy issues. My heart is irregular and most likely won't be able to have kids because of it. I wish I would have never, what does it say at the bottom? I can't read the last line there because of that little whisper thing. We'll just make it up. I wish I would have never met him. Well, again, the signs are there, guys. Most of the time, the signs are there. Unless it's just like, Mr. What's the word I'm looking for here? Con artist type dude that's just telling you everything, selling you on everything, and then it just comes out of nowhere. The signs are probably there, and you refuse to see them at the appropriate time. That would be my thought. I moved away from my family and got stuck 6 hours away from them for 2 years because I moved for someone who's now my ex. Biggest mistake ever. Well, you sound like you're still pretty young, so there's still plenty of time to make more mistakes. And that one is something that a lot of people do. Again, I'm making fun of some people here with these mistakes and whatnot, but I too got a litany of mistakes. So I get it, right? But again here, number one, most of these mistakes don't just come out of the blue. You're given some sort of a sign one way or another when they're coming, and you decide to proceed anyways. But my guess on this one is it's not your biggest mistake ever. You'll probably, unless you learn from that very well, you'll probably make more mistakes. Love regrets. Mine is leaving a guy for another guy. I love my new guy so much, but I jumped into it too quickly. Okay, so I don't really know what to say on this. Mine is leaving a guy for another guy. Well, if you love your current guy a lot and you left your other guy, what was the reason you left your other guy? And what are you not telling us? Because you now are regretting jumping into this relationship already. Because if it was a really good relationship, you probably wouldn't regret it. You'd move on. You'd move forward. You'd move on. There's something you're not telling. I feel like we're not getting the whole story here. That's my gut. I'm just feeling like we're not getting the whole story on this one. But anyway. This one's a good one. Holy crap, there's psychos out there. I poisoned a girl over a guy. Okay. Psycho. She didn't die. Okay, as if that makes it okay. She just got super sick. So, no blood, no foul, basically. I can't believe I did that, though. I truly regret it. Do you? Do you really regret it? You gotta be a special kind of psycho if you are going to go to the lengths to poison another chick for a dude and then justify it by saying she didn't die. She just, got really sick. Psycho, man. This is where dudes out there in the world, be careful, man. There's crazies out there. There's a lot of them. Don't take this the wrong way to any female listeners out there. All women are crazy. Guys are crazy too, but all women are crazy to one point or another. It's just varying degrees, right? And you find the crazy that you love and you can deal with and you can be with. But they're all going to be a little not wired quite the same. Just saying. Don't get mad. It's the truth. I often call the expensive mistakes tuition. Yes, it's a good point. That's a good point. I can just hear Muhammad saying, Anyway. I regret staying with an alcoholic for 7 years and essentially just being more of his caregiver than his lover. Okay. 7 years of a hardcore alcoholic, you should regret that. You should have regret there. Maybe a year. Maybe not even if he's hardcore enough. I mean, you'll know. This says more about you than it does him. Okay? This says more about the issues that you have than it does about him. Right? You knew he was an alcoholic when you got in that relation and stayed with him for 7 years. I lost myself and a lot of friends in the process. Well, yeah, you probably did. And again, pay that tuition. Pay it now, pay it later. But find that tuition so that you don't spend the next 7 years with a drug addict, right? Or somebody else that's got a bunch of that's got some emotional, physical, issues that are going to, probably there's something broken in you that you need to fix, and then you'll find the other person that isn't quite so broken either. It's just what I think. Could be wrong. Flew across the country to go to school, to follow my dream, only to come back because love guilted me into coming back. Sadly, I didn't realize how selfish this love was. Well, flew across the country to go to school, follow my dream, only to come back because love guilted me into coming back. Did love guilt you into it, or did you make the choice to come back? If you were following your dream, again, I guess, and I don't want to pick on these people too bad because, again, everyone makes mistakes. I'm there too. But the fact of the matter here is that there's something broken in you if love guilted you back, right? I would say, you probably really should own that, or you're going to do it again and say, you know what? I came back and it was a bad decision. Well, I guess maybe that is what they're saying here. Maybe I'm being too harsh on this one. But yeah, maybe I'm being too hard on that one. Learn from your mistakes. Don't do it again. Watching from YouTube as an act of rebellion. That's cool. That's all good, Easy. It's all good. I gave up an opportunity to live and work in New York City. A dream I have always had. Did we already? Oh yeah, I read that one already. Sorry. Must put that one up twice. That's the broad that gave up her opportunity and the dude left him. That's on you, sweetheart. It's on you. Wasted 5 years of my life dating a girl online only to get ghosted. Wait a minute. Time out. Back it up a second. Hang on, bro. Broski. If you are dating a girl for 5 years online, you're not really dating her. Okay? Number one. That's not really dating. Okay? And you probably, after the first few months of not meeting her or not progressing to an actual physical relationship, maybe 6 months, depending on your circumstances or whatever, but 5 years is completely out of the ballpark. It's completely out of the ballpark for you to feel like you're the victim here, dude. You were obviously getting something out of that and didn't want her to know something about you also. Or the light bulb should have went on way before 5 years that this is not gonna something, we're not cooking with gas, right? That the butter is not in the pan the way it should be, right? That we have margarine, not butter, right? You know how margarine, when you put it in the pan, it doesn't cook right? That should have been what was going on upstairs, and it wasn't. So that one's on you, bro. After 5 years, it gets ghosted. I was 2 weeks from moving out to see her, moving out to her state. Well, good. Hey, dude, look at this. This is a Benny, bro. Number one, you wasted 5 years of your life. That's on you. But look at the gods, man. Praise the gods above that you didn't move all the way out to that state, right? And didn't do it earlier and then have her, break your heart in person. Because obviously she wasn't the real deal. Or she realized that you were just not committed, or there was something wrong with you. You were living in your mom's basement. You just couldn't leave yet, something. And you say she ghosted you. Her story would be like he was a complete loser and I had to finally move on. But regardless of that, this is a win. This is slightly a win, okay? Yes, it's bad on you for being a retard and trying to date somebody for that long. But the win is you didn't move out there. So let's look at the silver lining in this, right? Let's look at the silver lining. Probably was a dude. That's probably right. Did she take credit cards? Yeah, exactly. She took iTunes cards. Exactly. And she was. It was like, did you meet her? Oh, was she a cam girl? Bro, she wasn't your girlfriend, man. They all tell you they love you. They all tell you you're special. You're not. I disregarded my own mental health due to my former partner's issues. For the next man I date, hang on a second. I got to back up. I disregarded my own mental health due to my former partner's issues. For the next man I date, I will make sure to care for myself first, then his needs. I need to be stable to be a good partner. Well, duh. So yeah, I mean, this is just like part A, part B. Again, you're realizing mistakes, learn from them, pay your tuition, as Basic said. Understand what's going on, that you're making bad mistakes. But the first part here, I disregarded my own mental health due to my former partner's issues. Well, that's on you. Again, that is on you. Because you do need to make sure that you're healthy. You need to put the oxygen mask on first in the case of a plane crash, so you can then put the oxygen mask on somebody else. And so I'm glad you learned it. It's all's well that ends well. Good job. My wife's calling me. This one's a good one. I moved out to Oregon. Okay, hang on a second here. Mic mute. One second. That's funny. I took my wife's water bottle and she calls me and she's like, do you have my water bottle? She's going to be on Whispers here in a minute. It's pink, but don't judge. It's a good water bottle. Anyway. What's up, Arcadia? Cheap date, eh? She took gift cards. Okay, so I moved to Oregon for her. Just for her to leave for her online boyfriend. Well, wait, was this the chick before that we were just talking about? I moved to Oregon for her, just for her to leave for her online boyfriend. Yes, online boyfriend. I still cannot believe that happened. Bro, geez, you must have been, he could have been catfishing her a little bit. And so when she met him, she was like, oh, hell no. I'm going to go back to the last guy we were just talking about. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe homeboy broke it off too early because she left him when this dude moved in, right? Following me? And then he was like, she ghosted him for a minute right before he was also about ready to move out to Oregon. And then it doesn't work out. Yeah, the line of logic doesn't really quite work out. But either he was super fugly, or again, bro, shouldn't you meet her a few times? I mean, and really know? I don't know. Some of these people. That one's a little harder to suss out. You know what I mean? A little harder to suss out. Anyway. I tolerated him putting me down for my artistic traits. Wait a minute. Artistic traits? Is that what we're calling them now? I tolerated him putting me down for my artistic traits. Well, we'll read on with this. But this one, I don't have a good feeling with where this one's going. It got to the point where I actually started believing these aspects of myself were wrong. So what do you mean by artistic traits? And there definitely are aspects of each one of our traits that are wrong. And that when we have another partner, they suss those out and they help us see those. And we need to change them. So this whole thing of like, I like to leave the room really messy because I'm artistic, or I don't clean up after myself because I'm artistic and I'm in the moment, or I like to paint the walls crazy designs and colors because I'm artistic, or, smoke a lot of weed and write poetry because I'm artistic and I don't do anything around the house. Those are traits that any dude or chick, for that matter, if the tables are turned, are not going to like. So you don't get a pass on this, and you sound like a crazy person. To me, good job. Wait, well, did he leave her? I tolerated him putting me down for my artistic traits. It got to the point where I actually started believing these aspects of myself are wrong. They might be wrong. They very well might be wrong. Some of those traits about you might be wrong. You're not all perfect, and he should leave you. That's my assessment of this one. I think he should leave you. Autistic. Moving across the country for him, everything was great until I moved here. He kicked me out on the street because I was working late. Were you working late on the street, though? I worked extra hours so I could buy him a brand new... We can't read that, but let's pretend it says computer, right? Because she couldn't work late to buy him a car. So I'm going to guess it says computer. I'm going with computer. But let's suss this back out here. Moving across the country for him. Okay. Never met. I mean, that's kind of sketchy in and of itself, but many people do it and it works. Everything was great until I moved here. He kicked me out on the streets because I was working late. We are definitely not getting the whole story there. Unless the guy was a complete and total just cray-cray dude. But this is definitely the one-sided story that we're not getting the full information on. I'm very convinced of that. Put a one in the chat if you're convinced that we're not getting the full story, that he just kicked her out on the streets for working late, or put a 2 in there if you think that sounds completely legitimate and you sympathize with this broad. I worked extra hours so I could buy him a brand new, we're going to go with computer. Could be whatever, right? So a 1 in the chat if you think we're not getting the whole story on that. A 2 in the chat if you think this poor broad just made a bad decision. She made a bad decision. Again, you got to know what you're doing before you do. You got to know a little more if you're going to do all of that. And why were you working so late, and where were you working? There's a few questions there I want to get to, right? Working late. Exactly. Oh, I truly regret cutting off friendships just to make... Okay, yeah. So we got 1. I think there's more to the story there, too. I truly regret cutting off friendships just to make his insecure ass feel better. Then he lied to me, ruining the relationship, and now I have no friends to talk to. A big lesson learned. Well, good for you. I think that was a good lesson learned. And you should never have cut off true friendships just because he didn't like them. Just as dudes, happens to dudes all the time, do not cut off your good friendships because she doesn't like them, right? And then let that be a flag. Let that be a big flare in the sky, a big bright flare in the sky that something ain't right if your other partner does not get along with your good friends. Now, you may have bad friends, or she may have bad friends, that the other partner who's better at maybe sussing some of this stuff out is saying, nah, that person, that chick, that dude, I don't want you hanging out with them. They're not a good influence. And they may very well be right. And as long as they have very good logical reasons as to why, then maybe you should listen to them. Maybe you're making some bad life choices and you need to listen to this person in your life instead of just blaming him for being, insecure or manipulative. But then again, maybe he is. That's where you just need to have a brain and be able to suss it out. So Moving on. A couple more. I stood by my ex when he committed plenty of crimes. Okay? It wasn't worth getting in trouble for him. I messed up. Yep, you sure did. When he committed any of the crimes that could have been brought back on you, that should have been a big flag to like, get out, go. It's time to leave now, right? It's time to go. You gotta get up. You gotta leave. You gotta get whatever it is. Make sure you do not have a baby. Make sure you're on birth control. Do not have a baby with this dude who's, criminal Cali. Do not do that. It's gonna be a bad move. And standing by him when he's committing crimes, that says something about you also, not just him. So again, I'm going to come back to insecure daddy issues, and you need to work through those. I regret giving my ex a second chance. He didn't deserve it. He continued to lie, cheat, and try to manipulate me. I walked away knowing I was 100% justified. Well, this one could very well be a very well-adjusted girl or boy, he, right? So girl, that knew her worth and realized when she did give him a second chance. Well, I will give this one a pass. Only that she may have been a very good person that was like and he was a very good talker and was like, just give me another chance, baby, give me another chance. And so she did. And really, but when she saw it the second time, she was like, bruh, you're done. She cut it and was done. Maybe that's what went down, and if that's the case, I applaud her. So I think we're going to end on this one where she says, I regret giving him a second chance. She did. Sometimes you have to, but she walked away. She leaves justified, holding her head high, and homie is now wishing he hadn't screwed up. So that was another little mean time. It's not mean time. Those are whispers with Steven. I'm going to have to make a new it's like whispers with Steven. All right. So I'm going to have to go here in a second, actually. Only because. Hey, Mohammed, I need to talk to you if you're still here. Is Mohammed still in here or did he get out of here? If Mohammed is still here, bro, we need to do I want to get you on a schedule with me to come on and hang out. So I'm going to start doing some guests again. So for someone with a new show. Sorry about that, guys. You don't need to watch Alfie again. All right. Well, we only got a couple people on each channel watching right now. And not that each one of you guys isn't very important. You guys definitely are. But I am going to go in so I can give my wife my. I was reading some of those whispers and I'm like, oh man, we gotta cover some of these things. Tomorrow I'll probably put up a video or two in regards to some of the stuff going on with Russia and some of the new developments on the vaccine. I've been busy, started a new job, so I haven't had a ton of time, and I lost a little bit of focus and desire to do videos as much. So I'm hoping I can get it back and get back to doing some fun stuff. But I want to see, I'll reach out to you, Mohammed, if you're not still in here. And I'd like to get you on for a show with me here soon. Other than that, we will leave with one more Alfie. And make sure you guys know to subscribe to sjgperspective.com. And so, give Alfie 30 more seconds and then we'll sign off. So don't go anywhere. 30 more seconds.
Whoa, look at all this, man. It's a big explosion. Woo, that is scary. You want to know what doesn't look scary? Oh, by the way, I'm Alfie Weinstein. You probably don't recognize me because I'm wearing some sunglasses that my buddy Yankee Jackson let me wear. He said my future was so bright, I should probably wear shades. I don't even know what that means. Anyway, you should probably subscribe to SJG Perspective so the waves of life breaking into the walls do not crush you. Okay, subscribe to SJG Perspective. We'll see you later. It's been Alfie Weinstein. Bye.
Oh, man, I gotta love Alfie. He's a good guy. All right, guys. I don't think I'm going to cover anything else because it's almost 10 here where I'm at. And but I do want to get some other ones up soon. So I do appreciate you guys hanging out and chilling. I will come back tomorrow and do another episode. Make sure you subscribe to sjgperspective.com if you have not. And yeah, that's about it. So until next time, it's SJG. I appreciate you guys hanging out, and we'll talk to you real soon. Have a good night. Bye. Don't make bad life decisions. Or if you do, don't put them up on Whispers.